is the one that's set up with the OG bit. So what you do is you set the profile the way you'd like it. So if you hold a piece of wood right up against the edge of the bit, you'll see that this particular one is set up so you see just a little bit of the line. You should get the double curve. And then all these bits, these decorative edge bits have a ball bearing at the top. But if you use the ball bearing, any sort of a dent or ding in the edge of your wood will be exaggerated by the bit as it rolls along the bearing. So we don't want the bearing to touch it all. So what I do is I just take a flat piece of metal, in this case I use the wrench, and I set the fence so that the bearing almost touches, but not quite. So I get to where I can feel it, and then I just kind of gently tap it just a little bit. So now, as we ride along here, the bearing's not going to get any of the dings in your wood, so it's just going to give you the nice profile. As we come across, you'll notice on the fence here that it says you have to travel this direction. So as the router bit spins, what it's going to do is it's going to slowly go into your piece of wood. If you were to come this direction, what happens is that it's almost pushing or pulling your wood, and it will actually send your wood flying, and you get this really choppy, nasty cut. So you always want to go into the bit so it's nice and clean. But what it'll do here at the very end is that it's really likely that it's going to rip out a piece. So if you come in here just at the beginning and just barely touch the router bit, don't really get into it, just get enough that what it's going to do is it's going to carve off this bit that it would normally rip out. And then you can start here and come across. The other thing is use a scrap piece of wood from the bin to push into it, and that'll help give something additional stuff for it to push into, and that will almost completely eliminate the tear out at the end. So you'll come across and you'll do all four sides, and I highly recommend that you start going across the grain and then finish going with the grain. So make sure that this is your last cut, and that's the one that you gently ease a little bit of the corner on when you start. And what that's going to do is it's going to give you the least chance for grip out. The other thing is make sure it's always unplugged when you're working with it. So it's unplugged now, so you'll have to plug it in. And then we'd like to keep this down and grab the vacuum hose that it fits nicely in there.